Big crowds were forming early today at Minute Maid Park as they were on hand to get the Alex Bregman bobblehead, the walk-off from World Series Game 5. As we welcome you to Minute Maid, where the Astros lost the game in the standings last night. The Oakland A's winning their game against Seattle. The Astros with a game-and-a-half lead in the AL West in 7 games over the Mariners. Brian McCann has returned for his first time back in 2 months, and he'll be catching a young man in his Major League debut, Josh James. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. We go to the second half of this homestand, Blummer. So far, 2-3, but they would really like to get a W tonight.
Yeah, to be honest, it's been a little ugly here recently against the Angels. They'd like to see a little bit of pop, but I feel like I have to watch Bull Durham again to figure out how to get over this streak that they're on right now.
Well, they do have some new faces back on this team, as September 1 means roster expansion. Great to see Brian McCann back.
Yeah, it's always good to see another beard in the lineup for A.J. Hinch. Usually it ends up being some good things, but you know, if he's able to launch one out of the ballpark, we're going to have a good time with a McCann ball. But he's also a good guy to have in that clubhouse. I know he's been hanging around a little bit, trying to get on these guys and encourage them to get through this season. But it will be nice to see Brian McCann with a couple of healthy legs, doing some good things behind the plate, but also getting on those legs to drive the baseball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, he said he hasn't felt this well in 3 years. And when you look at the catcher's ERA for the season, nobody has been better than Brian McCann this year with a minimum of 25 games. Tonight, he'll catch a young man in our Best in Texas Power Pitcher, brought to you by your local Ford dealers, who makes his big league debut.
I tell you what, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Josh James coming up from AAA. He made a couple of adjustments last year. The workout regimen changed. He's worked on that slider. We have here he has a pretty good changeup, but it's that heater. He can bring it at 95 to 97 consistently, and rumor has it that he can reach and get to 100, if not a little bit more when he needs it. But it'll be a lot of fun to see him mature here tonight in Minute Maid Park.
He will be amped up. He pitched to Brian McCann in the minor leagues when BMAC was rehabbing, so they have worked together before. We're going to have baseball coming up in just a little while. We'll talk about Josh Reddick next. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. We kick off the month of September in our No Player Does More presented by HEB. Josh Reddick had quite a final month last year.
He did, and the Astros would love to see that bat show up again, finish off the season. Again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Josh Reddick in his career has had very good months of September, but last year was extra special, finishing off that magical 2017 season with a .391 batting average. It all started after that Harvey series against the Mets, but he would be a welcome addition to the bottom portion of that lineup for the Houston Astros, getting on base and scoring runs.
Getting ready for baseball, we'll have the Major League debut of Josh James just moments away as the Astros and Angels play Game 3 of this 4-game series. Three of this 4-game series. Astros trying to even up the homestand at 3 games apiece. They have lost the first 2 games of this 4-game set to the Angels, losing the first game 5-2, and last night shut out for the 8th time this year, 3-0. There he is wearing number 63, the 25-year-old Josh James, about to make his major league debut. Kid who grew up in the Virgin Islands, moved to the States, didn't start pitching until he arrived in Florida at age 17. He has had to beat the odds ever since, a 34th round pick, and here he is about to make his debut.
So I think what you're trying to tell me, and him starting so late in pitching, there's plenty of innings left in that right arm, and it's looked very good to the Houston Astros, developing him through the minor leagues. I think the interesting story is how he dealt with sleep apnea, and he actually got better after he figured out how to get a good night's sleep. The workout regimen stepped up a little bit for Josh James, but now we are starting to see an elite arm move through the minor leagues, and now it's going to make an appearance here at Minute Maid Park. The great number for him is that strikeouts per 9 continually going up throughout his minor league career.
James takes the mound at a major league stadium for the first time in his career. With more on James, here's Preston Wilson.
Guys, I got a chance to talk to Josh James early. He came to the clubhouse manager's office, wanted to get some new sliding shorts and stuff, typical first day stuff. But he came in and he goes, "I know who you are. I used to watch you play for the Marlins." Immediately, I felt a little bit old. But to see this guy battle the odds, like you guys mentioned, being a 34th round pick, having to work his way up, earn everything, striking out 13.46 batters per 9 inning to lead the minor leagues, tells you that this kid's got a lot in that tank. He's got great stuff, and I can't wait to see him.
You know there is adrenaline coursing through his body right now as we give you the profile of Josh James. Wears 63. He is 6'3". He is a big man.
He's a big man, and that is an electric arm. The one thing we keep hearing about Josh James is the velocity. Every report that we've read says sits at 95 to 97 consistently, and when he needs it, he can get into triple digits. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. I am with Preston Wilson in the fact that Preston is old.
Well, James from Western Oklahoma State College, only 5 major leaguers from that university or college, and he will be the 5th. His first big league start after 17 at the AAA level, where he was holding opponents to a 187 average. And as Preston mentioned, 13.46 strikeouts per 9. Here's the lineup he will face. Cole Calhoun at the top, followed by David Fletcher and Mike Trout. Justin Upton is in left field. Andrelton Simmons is a shortstop. Jose Fernandez, just back with the Angels, will play first base and bat 6th. Taylor Ward is the third baseman. Francisco Arcia is behind the plate, and Eric Young Jr. in center field. The Astros starting defense is presented by Xfinity, and here's who is behind James tonight in his big league debut. Tony Kemp, George Springer, Josh Reddick. From left to right, the infield is Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa. Jose Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez gets a start at first tonight. Yuli Gurriel the night off, and good to see Brian McCann behind the plate for the first time in 2 months. A 34th round pick. Lowest round ever to start a game for an Astros draft, as he delivers his first major league pitch that's fouled away. Josh James, a 34th rounder out of Western Oklahoma State College. No starter in Astros history has ever been drafted in a later round. He has paid his dues. He has had to earn his way through every promotion. Greenville in 2014. Quad Cities 2015. Lancaster in 16. Last year Corpus Christi. Start of the year this year Corpus. 4 starts later he was promoted to AAA Fresno. He has been there ever since. And tonight he makes his major league debut, and he's ahead of his first hitter, 0-2. Pick number 1006 in the 2014 draft.
Hey, all you need is a chance. Create an opportunity for yourself by throwing 101 miles an hour.
What?
You saw it? Yeah.
What?
Easy cheese, 101. That's a fun highway to drive in California. You don't see it in the big leagues too often.
Well, this changes the game right here. He just threw one 101.
Early. Announce your presence with authority.
Backed it off a little there to 98.
First 4 pitches on our MD Anderson strike zone. That one just off the outside edge. You can see McCann setting up inside.
You said he might touch a hundo. We got 101 in the first inning. And 100 miles an hour to end the at-bat for Cole Calhoun. Strikeout to start his major league career. They're throwing the ball around the infield, but throw that ball out.
Ryan McCann just fired his first strikeout into center field.
Now Correa's throwing the ball back in.
Hundo.
Well, it's been a little while for BMAC too. He was excited.
He was excited. I love it. Congratulations, Josh James. Here's to plenty more.
Calhoun was disappointed that Ramon De Jesus didn't check with a third base umpire Eric Cooper on the check swing. Here's David Fletcher. 99, bullet for a strike. Right?
Yeah, and it doesn't, when you see guys, at least when I see a guy throwing 95 plus, you look to see effort. I don't see much effort from Josh James. Pretty clean delivery. He was just raging downhill with high velocity.
Preston.
I'm absolutely blown away. This kid got easy motion. It doesn't look like max effort, and the ball is jumping out of his hand. I talked to him earlier, and I go, are you excited? He goes, he looks at me, and his eyes got all big. And I said, you know what? You should be. And I said, you know what? Take it in. Look around, accept the fact that it's happening, and remember the moment. The worst thing guys do when they have their first major league game is try to act like nothing's happening, because then they trap all that energy inside and they're not themselves. You have to acknowledge a moment.
Well, he acknowledged it early with a 101 mile an hour fastball. Now he's ahead 1-2, and there's that slider that he misses off the edge. Pretty good lateral movement on that pitch. It's 2-2.
There's a look at the release point on that slider on our Mattress Firm Supermo. 87 miles an hour. And it's just a matter of commanding the secondary pitches for Josh James, because we've already seen an electric heater.
Well, he is taking his time when he needs a little break in this first inning, and that's good to see. He commands the pace. Even though it's your major league debut, he is not just running back up to the top of the mound, standing on the rubber. He is taking his time between pitches when he feels he needs it. And a little chopper towards Correa. Carlos with a quick throw, and safe at first base is Fletcher. First hit allowed by James is a little infield chopper.
Yeah, Fletcher's a guy that's not going to go out there and try and drive the ball out of the ballpark. He knows his strengths is putting the ball in play and using the speed. Just a little, if I could be maybe a little nitpicky on Carlos Correa. I know he goes after a lot of ground balls with the one hand, but when that ball pops up, it almost turns into a double play for me. You'd like to see both hands together and make a little bit quicker exchange.
Now James will face Mike Trout. Miles an hour missed by Trout on the fastball. It's 1-1.
Four-seam release. It's a great visual of it on that Mattress Firm Supermo.
So now if this is the do I belong in the major league moment, he's getting 99 on back-to-back pitches on Mike Trout. Both strikes, one a swinging strike and one a called strike. Might as well go after the best if you're making your big league debut.
Well, I tell you what, Mike Trout has a tough time up in the zone with normal humans. Now he's got to face 98 plus in the top part of the zone. Lays off it.
Another hundo. Seen 3 at 100 plus tonight, including a 101 in the first batter of the game. A strikeout and an infield hit. And now Josh James with a 2-2 count on Trout. Runner on the move. Pitches a ball. The throw is a little bit late. David Fletcher picks up his second steal of the year.
You might see some base running on the more aggressive base running on the base paths from the Angels with the combination of a rookie and Brian McCann. Brian McCann of all three catchers doesn't throw out as many as Maldonado or Stassi, and Josh James probably primarily focusing on the guy at home plate.
Yeah, early on, this is a relatively big moment for the kid. He got ahead of Trout 1-2, then missed on the next 2 pitches. Now full count after a stolen base. And he misses down and away, ball 4. So an infield single and now a walk. 17 starts at Fresno this year. 133 strikeouts at the AAA level in 92 2/3 innings. He did walk 39, but his walk ratio has gone down as his career has progressed. Last year at Corpus, he walked 32 in 76 innings. And this year, a total of 49 and 114 1/3 between Double and AAA. Here's Justin Upton. Upton sends one high in the air to center field. George Springer waits. Fletcher's going to tag, maybe just a bluff. It is. Out number 2 as Upton flies out to center. Just judging by the reaction to the lineups being announced tonight, this crowd is ready to go tonight. They are fired up. They got here early, many of them did, for those Alex Bregman walk-off bobbleheads. And it's a filled house here on a Saturday night, or very close to it, and they are looking forward to the Astros turning this series around after the Angels won the first 2 games.
You definitely can't blame the home woes on the lack of support. These fans continue to show up. They continue to get loud.
Oh, here's the battle of a couple of guys from the same college, Western Oklahoma State College, Andrelton Simmons and Josh James. Mentioned not a lot of major leaguers have come through there, only 5. It's 40% of their alumni at the big league level. They did not play at the same time. Simmons was before James got there. Takes one up and is 2-0.
Talk a lot about AAA hitters coming up and facing big league pitching, and how refined and how in control of multiple pitches you see AAA.
McCann almost flips over the rail.
Gosh, man.
That's a guy who's happy to be back. Thankfully, Josh James was there to help save him before he did a somersault.
Yeah, that's a veteran feeling pretty young and spry.
He did not slow up.
He was going to go over there and catch that ball for Josh James. Man, that's some sturdy fencing.
Testing that wall.
Yeah, it's a good thing Josh James is there to keep him from toppling in there.
Gotta love the effort right here. This is a veteran catcher.
You think Brian's excited to be back in the big leagues? This is a guy that's played for a long time, and he is amped.
Top 10 in the history of the game in catching putouts, so he's been around for a while, and he almost had a over the rail catch there. 97 for a strike. It's 2-2. Well, if this crowd was energized before the game, this young man is certainly helping to keep that enthusiasm going. Big league debut and coming out with a few at 100 miles an hour plus today.
I was talking about AAA hitters coming up and facing some very good big league pitching. It's a little bit different for AAA pitchers advancing to the big leagues, because you don't get the chase that often. We saw some of those highlights where Josh James was just rearing back and throwing fastballs and some pretty good sliders and getting some AAA hitters to chase. And one thing you're going to notice here in the big leagues for Josh James is some of those pitches on the edges, you may not see those guys chase outside the zone.
Now the runners will be off with 2 outs and a full count. James will make his 24th pitch in the first inning of his big league debut. Called third strike. Josh James in his first inning, a couple of strikeouts, strands 2.
Old number 1 is moving pretty good tonight for Josh James.
McCann back in there. George Springer, Jose Altuve, and Alex Bregman. Altuve and Bregman flop spots in the order. Carlos Correa, the shortstop. Tyler White DHing. Josh Reddick in right field. Marwin at seventh and plays first base. McCann and Kemp round out your lineup.
Felix Pena going for the Angels. Right-hander the Astros saw back in Anaheim, and actually that was the last game that Felix Pena pitched in. They got to him early for 3 runs, but he was able to manage to get through 6 innings, giving up 5 hits. Did not allow a home run, had 5 strikeouts. Averages 92 miles an hour on his fastball.
After watching Josh James, 92 is going to seem like nothing. That was an impressive first inning by the young right-hander, making his first start for the Astros. As Springer fouls one away, it's 1-1. George, after missing a week, didn't go on the DL, but nursing that quad injury, didn't start for a week. Since then, 281 with 4 walks. Still looking for that first home run since coming back off the DL. A little chopper down third, and that'll be foul. George hit a home run in that game against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, and then in that same game, he would go sliding in head first to second and injure his thumb. George sitting on 19 home runs for the year. 6 of the 19 are leadoff home runs. A lot of gold around tonight. Gold ribbons on the jerseys. You see the umpire Ramon de Jesus with the gold wristbands.
And that's something Major League Baseball has started. It is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Good job by Major League Baseball to coordinate, raise awareness for childhood cancer.
On the ground foul. Astros started off this homestand winning 2 out of 3 against the A's, losing the first 2 here against the Angels. The Angels playing tonight, excuse me, the A's playing tonight against the Mariners again out in Oakland. They also play game 3 of this 4-game series. On the ground towards short, that's a bad spot because Simmons is there and he makes the play for out number 1. Andrelton Simmons can make almost anything seem a little easier than it is, and that was a nice backhand play for the first out. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve and Bregman had been flipped in the order prior to tonight, with Bregman batting ahead of Jose. And now A.J. Hinch said he's been thinking about it a little bit, with Bregman driving in all those runs, and tonight going to a little different look to the lineup with Altuve second.
Not a bad idea at home. Mix things up a little bit. You know that Altuve's pretty pliable and is willing to do things to help out his ball club, and understanding Bregman is lighting it up, putting up some big numbers. But it might give Jose Altuve a little bit of an opportunity not to worry so much about driving in runs, so to speak, as opposed to just getting on base. Just find a way to get in a rhythm. Start getting that barrel to the baseball, work some counts, get those walks back up, because he's just as big a threat driving in runs as he is getting on base. But sometimes you got to play the hot guy a little bit deeper in the lineup to give him some more opportunities to drive in runs.
We've seen some uncharacteristic at bats from Altuve recently. His last 4 games, he's had a 2 strikeout game, a 3 strikeout game, and his first career 4 strikeout game.
Really, in the last couple of years, a little more stressed than we're used to seeing Altuve be in the box.
Pops this one up. Simmons will take control. And Altuve retired for the second out.
And I just kind of wonder, you know, is it kind of a, this is just speculation on my part, does it send a little bit of a message to the guy hitting in the 4th spot, saying, hey, I'm willing to move things around in that lineup if things don't start rolling in the right direction, or if we need to make adjustments? And you see a reigning MVP not humble himself, but make the adjustment moving into that 2nd spot, hopefully to try and get things going for the ball club.
Well, there's no doubt it's been a frustrating year at home. The numbers have bared it out through the year, and if anything, it's not getting any better. With this offense struggling all season long to score runs here at Minute Maid Park. In this series alone, we've seen 17 empty frames out of 18, and the only inning where the Astros scored a run was 2 outs in the 9th inning of a 5-0 game on Thursday.
Yeah, without that one swing, be back-to-back shutouts.
So timing's good if you want to mix things up, and AJ said maybe Alex Bregman can repay Jose Altuve in terms of protection, the way Altuve has helped Alex put up such great numbers this year.
Well, it's kind of funny to talk about it. Jose Altuve struggling at home. He's still hitting 294
right
at home, which is crazy. But you know, on the season, hitting 320 plus gives you an idea how much better he is on the road. But Alex is swinging the bat very good here at home.
Called third strike. Pena catches the corner as Bregman goes down looking. Good first inning for Felix Pena.
Out in that month of August, but they have been tearing it up since they got sent down. J.D. Davis in 18 games, driving the baseball out 9 times, 25 RBIs in those 18 games. The talent is definitely there for these guys. Kyle Tucker, .556 batting average in 9 games, 7 home runs. These are video game-like numbers that these guys are putting up. But it's good to get that confidence back up, and hopefully, after a little bit of a playoff run, they can maybe make an appearance back here and bring some of that talent and help out these Astros.
Yeah, that's what people have to realize is there are going to be waves of call-ups. It's not all going to be September 1, as the Astros added 4 names today, including this guy, Josh James. We will see others join the team as the season progresses and their minor league seasons end. But yeah, 19 RBIs for Tucker in 9 games. That's crazy. Here's Jose Fernandez. He was a call-up today from AAA Salt Lake City for the Angels. Fernandez up a little bit earlier in the season. 12 for 43 as he rips one foul. And the 4 guys that were added to the roster today, including James, you have Cionel Perez, another arm in the bullpen. Seen the lefty pitch earlier this year out of the Astros pen. Brian McCann, who missed 2 months, and Jake Marisnick is back on the active roster. These 2 guys are probably the only 2, or at least Jose Fernandez here for the Angels, probably the only guy that has some history here with James. Both guys spending most of the season in the Pacific Coast League. And the 3-1 pitch misses the outside corner. That's the second walk issued by Josh James. And a leadoff base runner for the Angels. When James threw that pitch in the first at bat to Cole Calhoun at 101.1 miles an hour, it was the fastest pitch thrown by an Astros pitcher all year.
Nice.
They had Hunter Miles Giles on the roster for a while, and we have seen some high-octane fastballs from Garrett Cole. He has touched 100 a couple of times.
Yeah, he's actually been the one that's been pretty consistent in getting to that triple-digit area.
But nobody at 101 until the 25-year-old from Hollywood, Florida, who grew up in the Virgin Islands.
He hasn't been missing by much. A lot of these pitches that we have seen have just been off the edges.
Now McCann's going to go out and discuss things with his young right-hander. Brian McCann caught James during a rehab assignment, so the reports were good from Brian McCann as they were paired up in Tacoma for a game on the 18th of August. In that game, James went 4 2/3 innings, did not allow an earned run. He did walk 3 4 2/3 in that inning, or that outing, and had 107 pitches on his record for 4 2/3. So Brent Strom, Brian McCann, just trying to settle him in a little bit. (2-0) on Taylor Ward. Ward's only 2.5 weeks into his major league career. He made his debut on the 14th of August. He was having a big season for the Angels at the minor league level. AA and AAA combined, 349 on the year with 14 home runs. Doesn't get the call there. Pitches 1, 3, and 4 all on the edges of the strike zone, but they are all called balls by Ramon de Jesus. Or 1, 2, and 4 were called balls. Into center field, coming on Springer, and it'll drop in front of him. George has to play it on a hop. And Ward has a single. The Angels with first and second and nobody out. Both innings, James has had to work with traffic. Last inning was first and second, 1 out. In this inning, first and second, nobody out. Thanks to the number 8 hitter, Francisco Arcia.
Batting average against James in AAA was phenomenal. Well under 200. Be nice if he could get that ball down, get himself a ground ball. Good pitch.
Arcia knows about beating the odds as well. He spent 12 years in the minor leagues before his call up earlier this season. Now James ahead 0-2. Well, you mentioned the sleep apnea issue he had before his first pitch, and that's something that seems to have really turned not only his season around, but he called it life-changing.
I can't even imagine having issues sleeping and then trying to go out and compete. It's amazing that he's able to go out there and fix that and all of a sudden do a 180 and become a prospect, because when he fixed that a couple of years ago, wasn't even on that prospect list, and now there's some websites and some prospect lists where he's jumped into the top 5.
When he got the diagnosis, he was actually relieved. He said, I used to wake up and then a couple of hours later be tired, and I'd get to the field and didn't have the same energy as my teammates, and now he uses a CPAP machine, and he feels like it is a not only a game changer for him as an athlete, but a life changer for him overall in terms of how much energy he has day to day. Ahead of the count here. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Josh James. And make it 3. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Arcia couldn't catch up, and that's the first out of the second inning.
'98. Outside corner, tough to catch up, and it's amazing. You slow things down. I mean, the barrel of Arcia is not even in the contact zone, and the ball is in the glove. That gives you an idea that there's a little extra jump on that fastball out of the right arm of Josh James.
Here's Eric Young Jr., number 9 hitter. He has not been getting many edges. That pitch just off the inside corner. It's 1-0. You're right. He has not been missing wildly. It's been just off, just up. Some of these counts could easily have been in his favor if he got a little bit wider strike zone or taller strike zone.
Or get some of these hitters to swing at him too, because you got to give the Angels some credit as far as hitters not biting on some of those pitches on the edges. But I'm not sure how much of it is I don't think it's a strike, or I don't really see it.
Good point. I think with Calhoun, the initial hitter, he was kind of doing recon for the rest of the boys in the dugout. And there were a couple pitches there that were just, you don't see 101 much.
No. Well, and it's deceiving too, because when I talk about those guys that have max effort and then bring 100 miles an hour, like Billy Wagner for me was a guy who threw in the upper 90s consistently, touched 100 a lot, but he had a violent arm action. Even though it was a short arm action, you could see he was he's coming at you. Josh James for me looks a little more fluid, a little more of a relaxed motion. I'm sure Preston could talk to this too, facing a couple of guys that throw hard, but when you don't see the motion coming at you, you don't anticipate high velocity, so it kind of gets on you a little bit quicker. Whereas if you see the violent motion coming at you, you're going to be a little bit quicker in your swing.
One and two the count to Eric Young Jr. And a breaking ball for a called third strike. Dotted it up on the outside corner. Strikeout number 4.
Some wicked movement on the outside corner. There's that release. Kind of surprised Brian McCann, but if you watched his glove, he kind of started out a little bit wider and then eventually traced that ball back to that outside corner. That was nice.
Well, Preston, who do you think of, as Blummer mentioned, guys that used to throw 100 when he was playing?
Oh, man, I remember Kyle Farnsworth. Big old dude, reliever, came in and he touched 100 a lot, but he did look like he threw 100. You know, so then you got guys like Smoltz who had that fluid delivery, and it doesn't even look like he's trying in his 98, 99.
And just sneak up on you.
Yeah, you see it. It looks like an easy arm motion, and it's like, boom, there goes the ball.
Yeah, Kyle Farnsworth is a good call.
But tonight, James is a guy that doesn't look max effort as he's touching 100.
Yeah, Preston, does it look as easy as it looks on TV for us up here? Because you're right down on the field watching that ball come out of his hand.
You know, that was one of the first things I wanted to check was what his delivery look like. Was it a repeatable delivery? And it doesn't look herky-jerky at all. Usually with guys who try to throw hard, there's some element where the movement is violent. I don't see any of that with him.
And now he's finding the outside corner with a couple of breaking balls to add to that 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, out of the stretch, here it is. Just a slight little leg kick. Gets on that backside, and yeah, I'm with Preston as far as you want to simplify that delivery and be able to repeat it. That'll help command also. But that ball is exploding out of his hand, and now he's added a wrinkle to it in the last couple of hitters.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I want a guy like this to have a little bit of, you know, to not be so fine and controlled, because part of his, you know, the thing that's going to get you is the fear that you don't know where the ball is going. There's some guys that throw too many strikes. And when you're a guy like this that can put a little fear in the hitter, you want him to be a little bit around the edges sometimes.
Just threw a changeup to Calhoun, missed with that on the 1-1 pitch. It's 2-1.
But again, I like where he missed with it too. It wasn't something hanging up out of the plate. It was down in the zone.
Pops one foul. It's 2-2.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of confident swings right now, guys. The single to center field by Ward was probably the best swing that we've seen, but I'm not seeing a lot of people look like they're feeling too good about facing this kid.
This kid's looking at 3 decks in a stadium for the first time, and now they're all making some noise to try and get him to finish out this inning.
Not to mention what's going on away from this game with the Oakland A's only being a game and a half back.
Finding the strike zone a little more consistently the last couple of batters. He has struck out 2 in a row, now ahead of Calhoun. Opening walk to Fernandez. Fernandez is the only guy he had faced this year at the AAA level who's in the lineup tonight for the Angels. Even though Taylor Ward, Francisco Arcia have been at the AAA level, they have not faced James before tonight. And Calhoun stays alive at 97.
Back-to-back days, the Astros have brought rookies to start games. Framber Valdez getting his second start in this AL West race. Now it's Josh James's turn, taking the spot of Charlie Morton, who's on the 10-day DL.
And the Astros pretty confident that it will be a short stint for Charlie on the DL. Tried another changeup. And now the count has run full, so for the second straight inning, the Angels will have a 3-2 count with 2 outs. The runners will get a head start. And McCann wants to go out and make sure Josh James feels really good about what this pitch is going to be.
48 pitches on the evening for Josh James. 25 strikes, 23 balls. Big pitch.
Yeah, it is. He's had a few already in this game. Angels getting that pitch count up on him. Fernandez will be off second, Ward off first. And the ball is hit well to right field, all the way back and gone. Cole Calhoun, a 3-run home run, his 18th of the season. And the Angels take a 3-0 lead.
Cole Calhoun throwing some shade on the rookie's debut here by turning on that fastball in a 3-2 count. Came in at 96 miles an hour, left at 103.7, but a little bit of the control issue missing with the fastball in. Calhoun did a good job pulling the hands in and turning on that.
Now here's David Fletcher. Well, 1 pitch away from what could have been a great inning after allowing a couple of runners on. Got Calhoun to 2 strikes but could not put him away. Threw a 2-2 changeup for a ball, and then the 3-2 fastball. Brian McCann wanted it outside. He yanked it a little bit inside, and that was a dangerous spot for Calhoun. Sharply hit. Bregman knocks it down, stays with it, throws out Fletcher for the final out of the inning. James allows a 3-run home run, and the Angels lead 3-0.
Which superstar, when at their best, takes the Astros from very good to elite? Is it George Springer, Jose Altuve, or Carlos Correa? Make sure you go to @ATT Sportsnet SW and place that vote. All three of those guys are good enough to carry a ball club. All three of them struggling a little bit right now, and they're probably pretty happy to see the calendar turn into September so they can get things going and start anew and finish strong.
Yeah, see if Carlos Correa can get things rolling. He had a 1-for-3 game yesterday with a walk. 20th game back after missing 36 games for the Astros. And Correa quickly down the count 0-2. Slowly hit towards Simmons. Simmons makes the play for out number 1 of the second inning. I'll bring up Tyler White. Tyler had an 11-game home hitting streak snap in last night's game. He's hitting .486 during that streak. Still overall since the All-Star break, he's been the best for the Astros in batting average and OPS. Second only to Mike Trout since the All-Star break in OPS. Trout getting the night off defensively tonight. Three-time Gold Glover, making sure those strings are ready to go. The webbing is secure.
In-game repairs.
Very well could be a 4-time Gold Glover as he leads, according to Fangraphs, all shortstops in DRS, defensive runs saved, this year. All three pitchers the Astros have faced in this series are the same three when they swept the series in Anaheim. But vastly different results thus far. Andrew Heaney and Jaime Barria combined for 12 shutout innings in this series. White chops one to third. Taylor Ward's there. And his play in time. White retired for the second out.
As you enjoy a cold one, look forward to the Miller Lite Hold True moment later in tonight's game.
Those same two starters, Barria and Heaney, with the 12 shutout innings in this series, had allowed 9 runs in 9 innings in Anaheim. Hopefully that trend ends tonight. Pena gave up 3 runs in 6 innings in that series at Angel Stadium. And seeing the Astros again, back-to-back starts. The other two guys made some adjustments, and now Pena has retired the first 5 batters. Pouring strikes in there. It's 0-2. Josh James has needed 52 pitches to get through 2 innings. Only 22 from Felix Pena so far. Reddick stays alive.
He's just filling up the zone. 23 pitches now, 17 strikes.
He's a guy that had been primarily a reliever both with the Cubs and at the beginning of his Angels career. First 38 big league outings all came out of the bullpen before his first start this year on June 19th. First time he's pitched here at Minute Maid Park. Swing and a miss. Arcia will have to make the play to first. Reddick retired for the final out. Second strikeout for Pena. Both strikeouts ending innings.
what could be for Josh James. Fastball is electric, 98 miles an hour. Good pitch up in the zone, gets the call at 96. Gets EY Jr. to chase that one, but that's the slider right there that kind of surprised all of us with that backdoor movement coming back to get the outside edge of that strike zone. And you're going to see that when these guys get called up. You're going to see flashes of brilliance every once in a while. That was a moment where we saw Josh James get the called strikeout on that slider.
A couple of walks in this game and 3 base hits. The big one, a 3-run home run by Cole Calhoun. James with 1 pitch away from getting out of that second inning and ended up giving up a 3 spot. Now we'll face Mike Trout, Justin Upton, and Andrelton Simmons. And starts out Trout with that breaking ball for a called strike. He's starting to land that slider a little more than he did early on in this game. And Trout down to the count 0-2. We mentioned James throwing the fastest pitch of the Astros season at 101.1. Somebody on Twitter asked me if Garrett Cole threw a 101-mile-an-hour pitch earlier this year. It's possible, but StatCast rounds up if you get to 100.6 or 7 or 8 or 9. So it's possible that Garrett did get credited with a 101, but nobody's been at 101.1 before that pitch by James to Cole Calhoun, his very first big league batter he faced. That was 99 just off the edge to Trout. So we've seen him fluctuate from 94.5 all the way up to 101 tonight. That's a fastball for a called strike. Best player in the game the last half-dozen years just looks at 3 fastballs there and ends up striking out.
League leaders are presented to you by Houston Methodist. PCL strikeout leaders. Give you an idea of what those guys are doing down there. A couple of Astros pitching for the Fresno Grizzlies. Rogelio Armenteros, we saw him in spring training. Just behind him is Josh James, the 133, and Trent Thornton with 122.
Astros like their swing and miss guys.
Yes, they do.
At every level. James just misses the edge there to Upton. It's 1-0. Justin Upton flied out to center field on 1 pitch his first time up. Last time an Astros pitcher, if you combine James' numbers at AA and AAA, he has 171 strikeouts. Last time an Astros minor league pitcher had as many as 171 strikeouts in a season. You have to go all the way back to 2005. And 13 years ago, Fernando Nieve had that many strikeouts. We're talking about one of the elite strikeout guys in the history of the Astros minor league pitchers. Head of the count here, 1-2 on Upton. 5 strikeouts tonight for James. 3 of them called third strikes. Give him a half dozen. Upton goes down on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Okay.
Check out all the September events and promotions at the ballpark. The calendar includes Dog Day, another replica championship ring giveaway, and Hispanic Heritage Weekend. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets and a full list of events. A lot of Bregman fans in attendance today. Saw a lot of the LSU purple and gold in attendance on this Bregman bobblehead giveaway day. Simmons fouls the first pitch off. Eight outs tonight for James. 6 strikeouts, a flyout, and a ground out. And he breaks open the slider on the inside corner, and Simmons is like, I'm not so sure I could do anything with that.
No, that's a little bit of that fear that Preston's talking about. Guys throwing 98+ miles an hour and you see it coming at you. The only natural instinct is to try and get out of the way, and then it snaps over the plate.
And a chopper towards third. Bregman is there. A 1-2-3 inning for Josh James for the first time in his major league career. We head to the bottom of the third in a 3-0 game.
Marisnick, swoon, is back. Last 20 games, it's been very good. Remember, Jake got off to an incredibly bad start. A lot of swings and misses of his own. Put him in a hole early, but now he is back. Been up and down a couple times where you know all about the defense, but it's great to see in those last 20 games, those numbers really jump. And as good as that batting average is in some of those numbers, the 490 on base percentage tells you that he is back in a groove where he's seeing the ball good and not chasing, which leads to strikeouts.
Good to see Jake back in that dugout. Always brings some energy to the clubhouse. Might see him tomorrow night in the lineup. AJ likes to play Marisnick when Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole are on the mound, as they get a lot of fly balls. And Jake's as good as they get out there in center field. Marwin sends one deep to left field. All the way back Upton at the wall. It's off the wall. Marwin, an opening double. Ball gets away from Upton. Marwin heading to third. He will be safe.
Tell you what I love about what just happened is that Marwin jumped on a first pitch fastball. 4 of the 6 batters before Marwin Gonzalez took first pitch strikes that were fastballs. Maybe Marwin watching a little bit, noticing that Pena's going to try and get ahead with the fastball, jumps on it, drives it the other way, takes advantage of the error, and now he's 90 feet away from scoring a run.
And welcome back Brian McCann. His first at bat since the final day of June at the big league level. 2 months away with that right knee injury. Had it cleaned up and he is ready to go. We already saw McCann almost go over the rail in the Angels dugout chasing a foul ball. Emac saying he probably needed to have this done at some point earlier, but he never wants to miss games. And he was battling through it. Finally, he relented, and now it's good to see him back. Says he feels as good as he has in a number of years, and he sends one to right field. Fairly well hit. Cole Calhoun at the wall. Plenty deep enough, though, for a sac fly. We just missed Glover.
Man, I was getting ready.
Welcoming him back with a McCann ball, but we get a sac fly anyhow. And this crowd appreciates the first run of the game.
Absolutely. The veteran back does a good job. Almost gives me an opportunity to blow out with that McCann ball call, but that was a good swing, and it's good to see him get down on those legs, get under that ball, and try and drive it out of here, but plenty deep enough for Marwin Gonzalez to score from third.
So going back to what you were talking about with Marwin as Tony Kemp will bat here, when you see that the first couple of innings, you start to hear guys say, wait, we can't keep getting down 0-1.
No, and you don't want to be on defense early on. If the guy's going to go out there and be aggressive with the fastball to get ahead in counts, get up there with the mentality that you're up there in a 2-0 count. Get that fastball. If it's somewhere you feel you can drive it, let it go. And Marwin did a great job.
And he has been filling up the strike zone, more than 3/4 strikes so far. 22 strikes, 7 balls. As Kemp, the best number 9 hitter in baseball in terms of on-base percentage and batting average, gets a start tonight and has a 1-1 count.
Well, if you're home watching too, just watch the ABs that the Astros have from here on out against Pena and see if he starts going to the off speed early to try and get ahead with the off speed.
Kemp fouls one back. It's 1-2. This is kind of where Tony Kemp goes to work. We've seen him time and time again get down and count, and very rarely do you see him with a short at bat in terms of number of pitches. A lot of times he gets down to counts, battles back, and ends up on base. So far the Astros with 1 hit and 1 run, the double and error charge to Upton to allow Marwin to go to third. And there's Kemp taking a pitch just a little low. It's 2-2.
Got to have a lot of trust in your hands when you hit behind in counts. Tyler White's done a very good job of it this year. And like you said, Tony Kemp has done a good job too. Not only does he trust his hands, he has a very good idea of the strike zone because a lot of those walks coming on the 3-2 counts.
Upstairs, and we're back to 3-2 after being down 1-2.
Tony Kemp in that 9th spot. His on-base percentage when hitting 9th is .416. Wow. is awesome.
That's turning the lineup over. And a foul, another one away. Astros tonight playing game number 68 of the home season. 68 road games. Coming into tonight, they had scored 374 runs on the road, 292 at home. Little check swing, excuse me. And Ward is there to make the play for the second out.
This week on Astros Bases Loaded, Alex Bregman breaks down the stare. We reveal the origins of the players' weekend nicknames, and Justin Verlander gets charged $1 million for lunch in L.A. Seems appropriate. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the postgame show, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
Here's George Springer. JV charged $1 million for being a Dodger killer. Springer fortunately did not go to that same restaurant.
Would have gotten charged way more.
World Series MVP still getting that timing down too. We've seen Springer, Altuve, and Correa show flashes at times of being back to their normal self. You wouldn't anticipate George would be 10 games in or 12 games in without a home run. I think that's still that thumb, not quite 100%, but slowly getting there. Now it seems like he's running fine with that quad injury, keeping him out a week. And he's at a 2-1 count here against Pena. Pena's kept the ball on the ground. A couple of strikeouts, 4 ground ball outs tonight. McCann did a good job sending one to the track on that sac fly. Simmons on this grounder takes care of it for the final out.
Good inning for the Astros getting on the board. Marwin, good hustle. Milking his way all the way around the bases, put himself in sac fly distance, and we were so
We have a great crowd on hand tonight as they are watching the Astros trail 3-1 as we head to the 4th inning. Jose Fernandez, Taylor Ward, Francisco Arcia, Josh James coming off his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. This is outside for ball 1.
I'd like to say hello to Betty Spittler. Speaking of first games, we want to say hello to the 81-year-old who's going to be making an appearance here at Minute Maid Park on Monday for her first Astros game. She's a Huge fan of the Astros, and we wanted to say hello to Betty Spitler.
Looking forward to seeing Betty on Monday as the Angels will leave town and Minnesota will be here. James starts this inning with a fly ball to center field to George Springer. James has retired 5 in a row now. If you're just joining us, if you thought the game started at 7 o'clock, you missed the first 3 innings of Josh James' major league debut, and you missed a guy who threw a pitch at 101.1 miles an hour. A little trouble in the second inning with 2 outs and 2 on. A 3-2 pitch to Cole Calhoun. Yanked a fastball a little bit that Calhoun sent over the wall in right field, and that's how the Angels have this 3-1 lead. For the most part, though, it's been very impressive to see James' demeanor on the mound. Has not looked like he's been rattled at all. I'm sure there was some extra adrenaline in that first inning.
I would hope there would be. It's exciting to make your debut, and it's exciting to be in the big leagues. I'd be excited if I had his stuff too.
He threw his first changeups of the game in that second inning. Still mostly fastball slider tonight. Gets a strike on the slider. It's 2-2.
Last couple innings, that slider's looked pretty good.
Yeah, he's landed a lot more consistently. He was just missing some edges early on in this game with that. .49 fastballs, 12 sliders, 8 changeups. There is a fastball, 97. He gets another called third strike. 4 of the 7 strikeouts have been called third strikes.
Looked like Lloyd Christmas's kid was here watching what we might start calling Josh Flames. Good fastball after a couple of sliders, locks up Tyler.
Here's Francisco Arcia. He struck out his first time up. James has been equal opportunity in terms of divvying up the strikeouts tonight. He even got Andrelton Simmons in the first inning, and Simmons strikes out less than anybody else in baseball. He's retired of his 7 strikeouts against 7 different hitters. The only guy he has not struck out, or the only 2 he has not struck out, David Fletcher and also Jose Fernandez. It's ahead of the count here, 1-2 on Arcia. 2 strikeouts in the first, 2 strikeouts in the second, 2 more in the third. And could get his second here this inning. James, as opposed to Framber Valdez, has been stretched out over 100 pitches at the minor league level. He has had 5 different outings, throwing anywhere from 101 to 107. Whereas AJ wanted to get Framber out before he got to the century mark. We'll see tonight, but James certainly has shown he can throw that many pitches. Swing and a miss. He gets him with the slider. Yvonne and Trisha James having a good time tonight, watching their son strike out 8 through 4.
fans in attendance will receive a First Responders Challenge coin presented by Lyondell Basel. For info and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions.
We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Jose Altuve, one of the more aggressive hitters, facing Felix Pena. Lumber talked about not taking first pitch fastballs. We'll see how Pena attacks Altuve here with the first pitch. And he throws him a breaking ball for ball one. You know, if he threw a first pitch fastball, there's a good chance Altuve would have taken a big swing at it.
Man, I hope so.
Jose popped up to short his first time up. Astros down 3-1. Picked up an unearned run in the last inning on a Marwin Gonzalez opening double, an error by Justin Upton, and a sac fly by Brian McCann.
Here's a good chance to get a fastball for Jose.
Right here.
Yep. Be ready, don't miss it.
Down and in is 3-0.
Green light him.
Well, Pena, who's thrown coming into this inning 27 of 39 strikes. This is on the first three to Altuve.
Auto take.
Leadoff hitter.
I don't know.
You're not sure?
I don't know. He's throwing a ton of strikes.
But if you're Altuve, you feel just as good about 3-1 as 3-0.
Yeah, but I think Altuve is a guy that needs to tell himself to take.
Back to the mound, broke his bat on the 3-1 pitch, and Altuve retired for the first out.
Get Out Play is presented by Toyota. Today is Alex Bregman bobblehead day, and it's walk-off bobblehead. And it's in that image right there that bobblehead represents. But he has had some big hits for the Astros. So why not show the man some love? He's having an MVP caliber type season. He's got one more month to steal some votes from guys around the league. And of course the stare.
MVP of the stairs.
Oh, hands down.
Bregman batting third tonight for the 5th time this year. And takes a called strike. AJ doesn't tinker with his top four very often, so you may see this alignment for a little while with Springer, Altuve, and Bregman in front of Correa. Bregman sends one high in the air to left field. Upton is at the track, and he's going to drift to his left as that ball was not quite in line with the Crawford boxes for out number 2. Now bring up Carlos Correa. Carlos grounded out his first time up. Astros just one base runner tonight. It was the Marwin Gonzalez double. Astros, as we mentioned last night, are on pace to get nearly 3 million fans at Minute Maid Park this season. They will either get to 3 million or be just shy, but the fact that they can even think about 3 million shows you how much this area has fallen in love with this team. And if the Astros could switch the numbers around and have 374 runs scored at home and 293 on the road, they probably would take that to entertain this crowd a little bit. But unfortunately, the numbers aren't here at home. They're the opposite. They've not scored at home. Same number of games, 293 to 374. Have the rest of this game to add to their 293 total, but I don't think they're going to quite get there. So AJ, he doesn't know what to say. It's 2 years. It's the same process as last year. For whatever reason, this offense just has not clicked as consistently at Minute Maid Park. Although Correa sends one on the line to center field. That'll drop for a base hit. Carlos, back-to-back games with base hits. He's a 2-out base runner. And then if you see what they've done inside the division.
My goodness.
They have a chance with the winning percentages on the road and at home to blow away the record for the biggest difference, with the road record beating the home record in the history of divisional play.
Why not? If you're going to be bad, be historically bad.
How can you explain that? They go to Seattle, they go to Anaheim, they go to Arlington, they go
to big, ugly ballparks and do all kinds of crazy damage, but they're just inconsistent here at home.
They've dominated the West on the road. I mean, dominated. It's hard to figure out. And the Angels will be back here for another series. Seattle will be back for another series. They're done playing on the road against the West. So that 30-8 mark will be their final season tally. We'll see where they end up with that home record. I know they won't quite get to 500, but they like to make it close. Outside to White.
StatCast AI, powered by AWS, shows you why they might want to play the shift against Tyler. Up the middle and over that shortstop's head is where he's been pretty consistent. A couple of times he's going to yank that ball. It seems like the off speed go down that third baseline a little more often.
Seems like lately all the big home runs for Tyler White have come late in games. 7th inning or later, he has hit 7 of his last 8 home runs. But they've also been in big spots.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a Shark a little while to get going. Maybe tonight in the 4th inning that'll work.
He's a hunter. Got to follow that prey around a little bit before he goes on the attack.
Ground ball to third. Fletcher receives the throw from Ward, and that'll do it for the Astros. We head to the 5th in a 3-1 game. Labor Day sale, and by Nissan, innovation that excites. Luke Scoot Barbecue had a lot of people out there on the plaza before the game. Good eats from Jackson Street Barbecue. Oh, that was a nice shot by that kid wearing the Altuve shirt. We head to the 5th in a 3-1 game. Eric Young Jr. leads things off. Facing Josh James in his big league debut, has retired the last 7 after the 3-run home run by Cole Calhoun.
Ooh, wicked changeup.
That was one of his better changeups, if not his best.
Diving down out of the zone at 88.
9th changeup of the game for James. And his first swinging strike on a changeup. Only 2 of the previous 8 were strikes. And quick work of EYJ as he strikes him out. That's 9 for James. 1 out into the 5th.
Yeah, that's not nice. Fastball at 94, changeup, swing and a miss, and then 98, Bayou. Not perfectly located or where he wanted it, but effective at 98 miles an hour.
Now we'll face the guy that has made the difference in this game, Cole Calhoun. Calhoun with a 3-2 pitch that he hit over the right field wall for a 3-run home run. And he takes 96 for a strike. Calhoun struck out in his first at bat. James at least 2 strikeouts in every inning tonight. Catches the edge there with the slider. It's 0-2.
He's got a pretty good feel for that backdoor slider today.
Down and in, it's 1-2. James, as we mentioned, 34th round draft pick. Lowest round ever for an Astros pitcher to start a game. Tyler White's playing in this game as well. Tyler DHing. He was a 33rd rounder. According to Elias, the second pair of Astros teammates to start the same game after being drafted by Houston in the 30th round or later. Go back to the 91, 92, 93 seasons when Darryl Kyle, a 30th rounder, and Eric Anthony, a 34th rounder, started 42 games together during those 3 seasons. Four of the 9 strikeouts for Josh James have been called third strikes. Similar sequence to last time, hopefully a different result. He was 2-2 on Calhoun last time, threw him a changeup away that Calhoun took for ball 3. Then he missed his spot with a 3-2 fastball.
And with the velocity that Josh James has, basically a guaranteed fastball count unless he gets crazy with that slider.
Astros will get the bullpen stirring soon, as James is at 85 pitches right now. And so the fastball, ball 4. Third walk for James, and that snaps the string of 8 in a row retired. Every Tuesday night home game is Dollar Dog Night, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. Enjoy all the dollar dogs you can handle during this Tuesday's Astros Twins game. For tickets, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Brent Strom with a stroll to the mound to talk to his rookie right-hander Josh James as Brad Peacock begins to loosen up, just starting to throw pitches in the Astros bullpen. Don't forget, tomorrow is a night game, a Sunday night game. We will not be broadcasting on AT&T Sportsnet SW. It will be an ESPN telecast. We'll be back with you for a day game on Labor Day Monday and then night games Tuesday and Wednesday to wrap up this 10-game homestand. So the rare Sunday night game followed by a Monday day game. Here's David Fletcher, infield single and 2 at bats.
Might be having my own backyard barbecue fest tomorrow night then.
Grilling it up.
Oh, believe it.
Hope it looks as good as it did out there in the plaza today.
Yeah, much smaller scale. Not going to have the entire pig out there.
No.
I'm not that good.
Not inviting the whole community.
No.
Fletcher down to the count 0-1. Yeah, we'll have back-to-back weeks where the ESPN crew takes over Astros broadcasts on Sunday Night Baseball. Tomorrow and then again next Sunday at Fenway Park. Runner on the go. It's bounced past James. Altuve is there and makes the play for out number 2.
Too bad it wasn't hit just a little bit harder. Might have helped out James getting out of this inning a little bit quicker.
Looked like James was going to go for it. And
that's what I was thinking too, and I had a hard time telling the angle from here, but that really looked like he'd let it go for Jose Altuve.
Altuve may have given him the verbal signal that he was back there, because in the middle of his jump he kind of stayed away from fielding that ground ball. Here's a call, strike to Trout. Trout has walked and struck out. James ahead 0-2.
Got him with a fastball outside looking last time.
Popped in the air, shallow left. Out goes Correa. Makes the play. Josh James through 5 innings has allowed 3 runs all on 1 swing. He has been impressive with 9 strikeouts so far. Astros down 3-1. He goes 5 innings tonight, gets a big hug from his battery mate Brian McCann. Garrett Cole coming over to shake his hand. Charlie Morton the same. There's only one debut, and tonight he should feel very proud, even though he gave up 3 runs on 1 swing. He was very impressive in his big league debut.
Yeah, it was just 1 pitch. Big Flames James.
That's what we're going with?
Keep working some stuff in, but I like the way that Flames and James go together because he flat bringing it.
Big Flames James. I like it. 1-1 the count. Josh Reddick, Marwin Gonzalez, Brian McCann in this inning. Reddick fouls one back. It's 1-2. Well, one thing in assessing that first start, you try and look for nerves, and I'm sure there were nerves from Josh James today. But he really didn't show it. He's kind of took his time on the mound, composed himself.
No, I'm glad you pointed that out because I really appreciated the fact that he did take his time a little bit because sometimes you do see guys. We saw it with Framber Valdez out in Anaheim.
A little flare to right, but that's going to hold up for Calhoun, who puts it away for the first out.
We actually physically, I felt like saw him, kind of breathing a little bit quick. We saw him rushing the baseball to home plate, but he settled down eventually. And it's okay, but it really seemed like James had an idea that, he might be a little excited and slowed things down for sure.
He definitely had a unique warm-up to the game today that we don't see from many pitchers. He was warming up from the corner of right field and throwing the ball all the way to straightaway center on a long toss.
Yeah, really the only guy I've seen with the excessive long toss to start a ball game was Trevor Bauer. And he might go foul line to foul line, but he was lighting it up. And that ball was making it a good 300 feet, pretty easy.
Yeah, with carry.
Yeah.
And then he got to the bullpen, and he wrapped up his bullpen session about 20 minutes before the game, which is a little earlier than most guys. Came out throwing 100 miles an hour in that first inning. Ended up with 9 strikeouts in 5 innings in his first big league start. Marwin, who has one of the 2 hits for the Astros and the lone run scored. That's here with a 1-1 count. Marwin doubling against the visitors' bullpen fence in left field. Marwin had an 8-game hitting streak and followed up, wrapping up the month of August on an 0 for 14. Still hit .303 for the month with that 0 for 14 finish. Now he's starting September 1 for 1.
It'd be great to see this Astros offense have a little thunderstorm of their own and put up some runs and allow James either to spit the hook or put him ahead.
Three and one. Pena has not walked a batter in this game. He fell behind Jose Altuve 3-0. It looks pretty nasty outside here.
Yeah, it's getting a little ugly.
Fouls that pitch back. Pena, 4 innings of 2-hit baseball so far, hasn't walked a batter. The run allowed is unearned. See outside the Minute Maid Park glass there above left field. It is a strange color.
Kind of Seattle-ish. That smoke.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, there seems to be a pretty good storm coming.
So
hopefully on the inside too.
I like where you're going with that. We almost had our first McCannonball call last time up. This ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Marwin is 2 for 2. He owns 2 of the 3 Astro hits.
Good to see Marwin after a big month of August continuing with a couple of knocks here early in September.
Time to play. Name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here are today's clues. Who am I? 2002 All-Star MVP Silver Slugger. Send your guesses along to @ATT Sportsnet SW. Well, here's Brian McCann. Just missed a home run in his first AB back from the DL. McCann hitting a sacrifice fly to the warning track and right his first time up. Takes one off the plate, 1-0. McCann missed 50 games. Underwent arthroscopic surgery on his right knee on the 3rd of July. And it's 2-0. Good to see him back for a lot of reasons. We showed you the catcher's ERA before the game, the best in baseball. But that lefty power stick, a very right-hand dominant lineup, to see another lefty in there is a nice thing for the Astros.
It's a good call. And the legs are such a huge part of the game, but really for hitters to get on those legs and create drive.
This one he gets under and pops it way up in the air. Catcher Arcia is there and puts it away for out number 2.
The first 2 ABs, we've seen 2 good swings. He just missed that, popping it up, but still. Again, those guys that come off the DL, the rhythm, the timing. Takes a little while for these guys to get going, but he got himself in a 2-0 count, was sitting fastball, got one. Just a little up in the zone, and he got under it.
I'll bring up Tony Kemp. Kemp grounded out on an excuse me check swing his first time up. Both teams with 3 hits. And Kemp makes it 4 for the Astros. Marwin will hold up at second base as Calhoun will make the strong throw. Calhoun, very good arm in right field, and Marwin with 2 outs. Thinking the better of trying to push the envelope.
I like it. Early in the count, get a fastball in the zone, do something with it. But again, you know, Tony Kemp, we talk about him getting on base. Even these two-out situations, if you're able to get on base, and again, I know we talk about it a lot this season, especially at home, get your thumpers up there with guys on base. I don't care how bad these guys are going, there is always a chance for something.
Yeah, what a job Kemp has done. We can't overstate it. He is getting a chance to play at the big league level. The most at-bats, the most games he's ever seen in one season. He is making the most of it. See if George Springer can come through here with 2 outs. George has grounded the short a couple of times. And Pena catches the edge. Springer down the count 0-2.
Pitcher's pitch on that outside corner.
George had one go against him on the outside corner his last AB, so he has not been thrilled by the strike zone tonight. Ramon de Jesus.
I just hope we give Tony Kemp enough love, because you're right. I mean, with all the other guys doing things, Tony Kemp's been quietly doing his thing. The reason it's been so loud for those other guys, runners move up 90 feet on the wild pitch. You know, Tony Kemp kind of flies under the radar because he's not hitting the home runs. He's not hitting the doubles. He's not driving in the runs, but he's definitely doing a great job of getting on base and deserves a lot of credit.
And a good job by both Marwin and Tony advancing on this pitch.
Well, I completely agree. And as a trail runner, you got to keep your eyes on that runner in front of you, and Marwin got a great jump on it.
The Angels play deep against Springer, so a single here will tie the game. Crowd's getting into this. Springer down to count 1-2. Little pop-up into left field, coming on Upton, out goes Simmons. It's Simmons who makes the catch. What a play by the Angels shortstop. That game would have been tied had it not been for Simmons making that play in shallow left.
He is superb on ground balls, but he also shows great range going back on this play. Justin Upton still down, but a phenomenal play to end that rally for the Astros. debut. We saw high velocity. We saw a very good slider. The occasional changeup mixed in there. But how about the rookie making his debut in a pennant race? Only made one bad pitch to Cole Calhoun, which led to that 3-run home run. 3 walks. The big number was those 9 strikeouts. I liked the flashes of brilliance that we saw, and so did his family.
I thought you made a good point early on with James, talking about how the AAA hitters might be expanding the zone a little more than the big league hitters. And I think after he walked a few early, he kind of locked in that slider a little more and started throwing it on the plate.
And it was good to see him make that in-game adjustment too. Normally you'd see guys just rely back, go back and rely on what they know how to do or what they're confident in. And fastballs are a confident thing for him because he throws them so hard. But had to make the adjustment, went to the slider, and it was effective.
So Brad Peacock takes over in the 6th inning. Brad appearing in his 53rd game on the year. And he'll face Justin Upton, Andrelton Simmons, and Jose Fernandez. Final line on James: 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. It easily could have been no runs. Big swing by Cole Calhoun, providing all 3 runs, as James had a couple of pitches where he was 1 strike away from getting out of that inning. Upton is flied to center and struck out. James struck out 7 of the 9 Angels tonight. Did not strike out David Fletcher in 3 at-bats, and did not strike out Jose Fernandez in 1 official at-bat, also a walk. One of those 3 walks came around to score. Astros having some opportunities the last couple of nights, but not able to get that big hit, especially with 2 outs. Last night they had a couple of opportunities, one early in the 3rd inning, 1st and 3rd, 1 out with Bregman and Altuve due up. Did not score a run in that inning. And they had the bases loaded, 1 out with Altuve and Correa due up. Did not score a run in that 8th inning. Those are the moments that when your offense is searching for runs, right guys at the plate during those situations, just unable to get the job done. Last inning, even though it was a 2-out situation, George had a chance to tie it with a base hit. Popped one into left field, and Simmons made a great play to end the inning. Upton goes down swinging as Peacock picks up a strikeout for the first batter he faces.
When you've got a good slider, sometimes you'll see some very good hitters take a delayed swing on the fastball because they might have been waiting for that slider. Good pitch by Brad Peacock.
Here's Simmons. A rare strikeout for Andrelton his first time up. He took a pitch that McCann was set up inside, ended up outside, and still had the plate. Took a called 3rd strike. Tony Sipp warming up in the Astros bullpen. Most strikeouts in an Astros pitching debut, which also includes their 3 years as the Colt 45s. J.R. Richard in 1971 struck out 15 batters. It's also the major league record, to go along with Carl Spooner back in 1954 with Brooklyn. So 15's the Astros franchise record, and also the major league record. Tonight, Josh James had the 2nd most strikeouts in franchise history in a debut. Dan Larson 1976, Scott Ellerton in 98, and tonight James all with 9 strikeouts, the 2nd most. The 3-0 pitch is a strike.
That was a complete game for JR.
Like 15 punchies in a debut in a CG. At the knees for a strike, and the count's full. Peacock back in the count. AL record, a dozen. James got to 9 tonight in 5 innings of work. Don Ace, Louis Tiant, Tim Hudson 11, and Elmer Myers and Steve Woodard with a dozen. Well, no promises given by A.J. Hinch after today for Josh James. Not sure what may happen with his role. Charlie Morton expected back on the next road trip. Expected it to be a short time on the DL for Charlie.
Random fact, Steve Woodard threw the home run derby at the National Hall of Fame game that I was at.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he threw, I think, he threw 3 shutout innings in that game too. He threw batting practice, home run derby in the first 3 innings.
Come on.
I swear to you.
Guy's ready to go. Grounded to Bregman, a couple of hops and a backhand play. 2 away in the 6th.
Cheer on the Astros next week as they take on the Twins with the AL West Championship in sight. Tickets are as low as $9, so visit Astros.com for info and get your seats today.
Right, so if Steve Woodard debuted in '97, that's 21 years ago.
Yeah.
He's got to be in his 40s.
Oh yeah, easily.
And just
pumping strikes. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was. I don't think he struck anybody out. Everybody hit a ground ball either to me or John McDonald at short. It was unbelievable.
That's foul. They had two home run derbies this year for you, huh?
I was too nervous to hit the one in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I backed out.
There you go.
Some other big guys. Ryan Sweeney. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yeah,
Oakland A's, Chicago
absolutely.
Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He went Luke Scott on it.
Did he?
And the Hall of Fame in right field is about 150 feet away. And he was hitting them like into neighborhoods. It was unbelievable.
After that show Luke put on, I was kind of anticipating seeing his name on the transaction wire.
Today, for sure.
Yeah, with the rosters.
Somebody could use that pop.
That was you guys all did a great job. Luke with the prodigious blast. Fernandez down in the count 0-2 and fouls one back. Peacock a strikeout and a ground out. Now facing the 30-year-old Jose Fernandez. Started his career in Cuba. Made his big league debut this year on June the 8th. And he stays alive. Some deals made right at the deadline last night. These players eligible for the postseason with their new teams.
Interesting that Cleveland Indians picking up Josh Donaldson, primarily a third baseman, makes you wonder if they're going to move Ramirez to second base. But I'm kind of curious about the Andrew McCutchen pickup. Does that give you any question mark around the health of Aaron Judge or if he comes back or anything?
It's a nice insurance policy to have for sure.
Absolutely. And maybe DH possibilities, I'm not sure, but just kind of curious about that one a little bit.
They also picked up a glove in Adeiny Echeverria, who was with the Pirates after starting the year with Tampa Bay. There'll be some interesting roster decisions for some of these teams that have not only expanded their rosters today, but also made some additions right before the August 31st trade deadline. Two and two the count. Things worked out well for the Astros last year, picking up Cameron Maybin and Justin Verlander. They were both a part of the postseason roster. Today, the Astros adding those 4 new players that we mentioned earlier: Josh James, Cionel Perez, Brian McCann, and Jake Marisnick coming off the DL. Three and 2 the count. Fernandez thought he had drawn a walk, but count's full.
There's a lot of things I would have said right there if I was in the dugout.
And you can't say now that you're a broadcaster?
I'm trying to figure out how to clean it up.
Maybe you can say one of your weird words.
Well, typically 4 balls equal a walk in the big leagues. I don't know what the rules are like down in AAA.
Cuba.
Yeah, I'm like trying to run away from Brad.
Swing and a miss. This ball gets away. He's going to reach base after all.
It hit him.
Ah, so he's out at home plate. Strikeout hits Fernandez. And that'll do it. Mike Scioscia's going to have a little discussion with Ramon de Jesus. Oh.
I was first hired, we sat at this very table, and he said, you know, I was going to be the manager of the World Series champion Houston Astros, and that's a little bit of pressure, but we were able to accomplish that, and I think even this contract or our relationship moving forward, and the leadership team that's together and throughout the whole organization, the players, I mean, we've just scratched the surface of what's possible. I mean, the goal is that this is not the story, or this is not the main theme of the book. It's an extended run of success, and so the last 14 months have been about as good for me personally and professionally as you can imagine. I want the next 14 months to be even better.
Our Shiner spotlight falling on A.J. Hinch and his comments as he was extended in his contract earlier this week, all the way through the 2022 season. Jose Altuve made a lot of headlines by getting extended in his contract back in spring training, and he leads things off against Felix Pena. Left fielder in the game for the Angels. We saw Justin Upton avoiding Andrelton Simmons for the final out of the 5th inning. Upton has left the game, and Caleb Coward is the new left fielder. Altuve has popped up and grounded out, and grounds one towards third. Taylor Ward makes the play, and Altuve 0 for 3 tonight. First out of the 6th inning. But when the struggles happen offensively, you look for your big three to get the job done, and this season Altuve, Springer, and Correa in wins and losses have vastly different numbers.
It's incredible. Yeah. Especially with the runners in scoring position, you're not asking them to drive the ball out of the ballpark in those situations, just coming through with a couple of clutch hits every now and then to help the ball club out. And you hate to say that they're completely dependent on these guys.
High fly ball, deep left field. Alex Bregman, home run. Number 26 on the year. The Astros are down 1.
That puts a smile on all our faces.
On a night where the fans get the Alex Bregman walk-off bobblehead, he hits a home run here to make it a 1-run game, and we know what's coming next.
Be patient.
Bugs for homers and here's Carlos.
When I grow up, I want to be Alex.
You're right. Bregman continues to increase his career highs in home runs and RBIs. He's up to 26 and 87 now. Correa, who had a hit last time, chops one to third. And Ward is there for out number 2.
Alex has been electric all season. Starting off September the right way. Did a great job of recognizing slider, waited for it to get into that contact zone, gets around it, and yanks it into that Crawford box. For a young player in this league, he is putting together some serious professional ABs this season.
You know, it's not that often where you call your shot, but you see that right there? Yep. I told you. Before he went up to the plate, he was talking to one of the fans in the front row in the on-deck circle, and he told him he was going deep. And when he came back around home plate, he just let him know he didn't forget. He told him he was going to get deep.
Got to remind him.
And has some swag. Bregman makes it a 1-run game. And here's Tyler White. Well, it's nearing that point where the shark starts to feast. Later in the game now, third AB. Ground out in a fielder's choice his first 2 times up. And a good take there. It's 2-1. Pena threw the most pitches of any start in his career his last time out against the Astros. He has never thrown 100 pitches in a major league contest. He threw 97 last time out. His pitch count's been in pretty good order tonight, allowing 5 hits thus far. He has not allowed a walk. Just a couple of strikeouts in this game. Foul tip there, and the count evens up. Bregman continues with that home run. His on-base streak. He has been on base 29 straight times now, and 89 out of 91 games, going all the way back to the middle of May. Called third strike. White goes down looking for the final out.
Hey, Breg, getting him a little bit closer. Good professional batting on that slider away, hooking it into that Crawford box, getting him a little bit closer, saying, I told you so. I'd like to see him call some more. 3-2.
Harvey 1 year later. During this series, fans will have a chance to get a Stay Strong t-shirt for just $10. 100% of the proceeds benefits the Astros Foundation. Visit astros.com/Houston Strong for more details. Seventh inning baseball, Taylor Ward, Francisco Arcia, Eric Young Jr., the bottom third of the Angels lineup due up as Brad Peacock gets a second inning of work. Tony Sipp continues to warm up. Ball into right field. Reddick is there, drifting back a little bit. One away. And with Francisco Arcia, the left-hand hitter, due up next, A.J. Hinch out of the dugout. Brad Peacock picks up an out in the seventh, and he will have retired all four batters he faces tonight. Tony Sipp will be on after this timeout. Some LSU jerseys in attendance as well. Love those LSU purple and gold Bregman jerseys. 13 out of 68 home dates. Almost 1/5 of all home games have been a sellout this year.
That's impressive.
That's great. I mean, part of it has been replica ring giveaways. That's just an automatic sellout, but still, only been 4 of those. So,
Just brilliant marketing.
love the connection this team has made with the Houston community and surrounding areas, and fans are showing up big time in 2018. Here's Tony Sipp.
44th appearance for Tony. Came in this series, ended up walking Shohei Ohtani. Similar situation here where he's in charge of getting this left-handed bat out.
See how long AJ goes with Tony. Sometimes it's just a couple of batters. He has a switch hitter on deck in Eric Young Jr. and then Cole Calhoun, a lefty, so Tony could get the next 3 hitters here. Arcia struck out a couple of times against Josh James. Good work by Brad Peacock in place of James, getting all 4 outs. A couple of strikeouts for Brad. And Joe Smith loosens up. The next right-handed hitter in their lineup would be David Fletcher. Foul tip caught by McCann. It's 1-2. Since that home run by Cole Calhoun, the Astros have not allowed a hit. Only base runner for the Angels during that stretch. A 1-out walk to Calhoun in the 5th. This ball popped up. Marwin has a play on it. And that's 2 away. .15 out of 16 retired. And that'll bring up Aaron Young. Young also struck out a couple of times with James on the mound. He was the final strikeout victim of the night for Josh. James with 2 strikeouts in the first 4 innings and 1 in his final inning. And a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Fastball tonight for James sat between 95 and 101. We saw 3 triple-digit fastballs in his first major league inning tonight.
Yeah, he was pretty amped up.
Into center field, Springer. And Tony Sipp retiring both batters he faces. 7th inning stretch time at Minute Maid Park. 3-2 Angels.
Plus, get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Bottom half of the 7th inning, fans enjoying a little 7th inning stretch, and deep in the heart of Texas on this Saturday night, sellout crowd. Astros down by a run. Felix Pena has never recorded an out in the 7th inning of any of his starts. His longest outing, 6 innings. He's done that 4 times, including his last 3. And he starts off Josh Reddick with a called strike. Reddick is struck out and flied out to right. Marwin Gonzalez on deck has 2 of the Astros' 5 hits tonight. Reddick pulls this one on the ground, and Fletcher is there. Reddick retired for out number 1. So Pena the deepest he's ever gone into a major league start. He has limited the Astros to 2 runs on 5 hits. Marwin has been in the middle of things with a double and a run scored in the 3rd. Also singled in the 5th inning. Cam Bedrosian warming up in the Angels bullpen. Those hits Marwin in the foot. It's 2-0. Pena's been better this year away from Angel Stadium. Coming in, his 5 road starts carried a 2.36 ERA. At home this year, 6.17. Marwin into left field. That'll send Coward back. Still going back and jumping up right near the corner of the Crawford boxes and makes the play. Marwin retired on a ball to the track and left. Time to name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here are today's clues. 2002 All-Star MVP and Silver Slugger. If you got Brian McCann, second-round pick for the Atlanta Braves in 2002, a 6-time Silver Slugger, and an All-Star MVP in 2010.
Welcome back, B-Mac.
McCann with a sac fly his first time up. Popped up to the catcher Arcia his last time.
He's had some good swings on Pena.
Another one. This one way up there in fair territory. Arcia now drops it. It's in foul territory. No play. Arcia started in fair territory, drifted to foul territory. He was near McCann's bat, but I don't think he ever fell over the bat. He just missed that play.
Yeah, as soon as he moved to his left, you can see a little bit of panic set in, but this ball is popped way up. It's a home run in an elevator shaft. But right about here. You panic, you start running on your heels, the ball starts bouncing around, it doesn't hit in the pocket of the glove. New life for Brian.
I'll go down as an error against Arcia for not catching that pop-up. Now McCann down on the count 1-2. Completing his rehab, played 7 games on a rehab assignment, 5 at AA Corpus Christi, a couple of games for Fresno.
I'd have paid good money to see Brian McCann in the taco uniform.
That would have been a nice look. McCann hit a home run for the Hooks. Sends this one to left field, but Coward is there as he moves towards the line and makes the play for the final out of the inning. Well, Pena gets through 7 for the first time in his career as 3-2 Angels. with all their runs on one swing. Cole Calhoun hitting his 18th home run of the year. Astros getting a run back on a Brian McCann sac fly, and then Alex Bregman hitting his 26th home run of the year. And Tony Sipp still out there with the left-hand hitting Cole Calhoun batting to start the inning. Could be Sipp for Calhoun, and then saw Joe Smith warming up, and he has been joined out there in the bullpen. I imagine we may see a pitching change after this first batter. Ryan Presley also warming up for the Astros. Sipp starts out Calhoun with a strike. Calhoun struck out, hit a 3-run home run, and walked. He is the only Angel to reach base since that home run. Astros pitching retiring 16 of the last 17 Angels hitters. Only 8 hits combined between these two teams, and that seems to be a common theme during this series between the Angels and the Astros. The Angels have done some damage in the 6th inning, but the hits have been hard to come by in this series. Astros had 5 hits going into the 9th inning of Thursday's game. 5 hits going into the 9th inning of last night's game. And tonight they're sitting at 5 hits here in the 7th inning through 7 into the 8th. Seattle and Oakland underway from the Oakland Coliseum, scoreless after 1. A's able to win last night 7-5 against the Mariners. James Paxton's back for the Mariners. He's pitching tonight. Liam Hendricks started that game for Oakland.
All right.
They're going to the opening pitcher already, sounds like.
Sounds like it. They've tried so many starting pitchers. Eventually they end up on the DL, unfortunately for them. So it might be. With this push that Oakland is making, that bullpen has been taxed.
If they are going to make that push, they're going to rely heavily on that pen. You got to think over 50% of their innings are going to come from that bullpen in September.
Well, they throw 5 1/3 last night.
Fires got knocked out in the 4th.
So close to
So
that
3 and change, yeah. In the series against the Astros, they combined for 10 and change in 3 starts.
And that's the thing too, if they have any kind of lead, you know, Bob Melvin's going to be going to the usual suspects out there. Familia, Rodney, Trevino, Trinan. Much like we saw with the Seattle Mariners. Saw Edwin Diaz here in a 4-game series get 4 saves in a row.
AJ still hasn't used the pitcher 3 straight games. Or 3 straight days at least. There might have been one where there was a day off in between. Sipp with a 2-2 count on Cole Calhoun. And now the count runs full. Calhoun has had some battling at bats tonight. He's a guy beginning of the year that was just lost at the plate. Now 50 games in, he was batting .145 with 1 home run. Still playing his solid defense, and Mike Scioscia stuck with him. Went on the DL, and since coming back from the DL, he's hitting around 290 with 17 of his 18 home runs, including the big blast tonight. Sip gets him right there. The battle won by the Astros left-hander. Tony Sip retires all 3 batters he faces tonight. A.J. Hinch quickly out of the dugout.
It's good to see Tony Sip bouncing back. Good fastball on that inner side of the plate, tailing in, gets a swing and miss.
Sip will get a nice hand from this sellout crowd as he retires all 3 batters he faces after Brad Peacock gets all 4 he faces. And Joe Smith will be the new pitcher when we come back. Joe Smith.
Joe Smith has been going pretty good. Threw an inning and a third against the Oakland A's on the 29th. Struck out a batter. Strikeout to walk ratio is beautiful. That arm side run on the fastball and slider have been good for Joe lately.
He'll face David Fletcher and then Mike Trout, the first 2 hitters he will see here in the 8th inning. Fletcher grounds one. Dino Abell makes the play in the third base coaching area. Fletcher, an infield single and 3 at bats, also stole a base. Lays off the slider. It's 1-1. Angels coming into this series were not playing very well. They had lost 7 of 8 and 9 of 11 last weekend. Mike Scioscia's team was swept in a series by the Astros in Anaheim. They have come in here and won the first 2 games and lead this game 3-2. They have never trailed in this series. 5-2 win on Thursday, 3-0 win last night. Ahead early tonight, 3-0, where the Astros added a run in the 3rd and a run in the 6th. Sometimes these are the teams in September. The Astros played all winning teams in August, with the exception of the Angels. Sometimes these teams that come into the final month kind of freewheel and have nothing to lose and are dangerous.
Get some young, hungry kids out there looking for their opportunity to make a statement against the reigning world champions. Then you get some of those veterans trying to finish off some solid years in your lineup too.
So they went from facing the same 3 pitchers in Anaheim, Heaney, Berea, and Pena, combining for 15 innings and 12 earned runs in California, and in this series they went 19 innings and 2 runs. This ball's looped into right field for a base hit. David Fletcher with his second base hit. That's the first hit for the Angels since all the way back in the second when Cole Calhoun hit that home run.
The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontronRV.com. One more game here tomorrow night. ESPN game against these Angels, and then the Twins coming to town for 3, and then a couple of Thursdays off as we work through Boston, Detroit, come back home for Arizona, Seattle, and Los Angeles. And last road trip of the season is Toronto and Baltimore.
It's that time of year where we can almost put the entire schedule on our road ahead. It's that final Sunday in Baltimore. Here's Mike Trout. Walk, a strikeout, and a flyout. After tonight, 13 more games at home, 13 more games on the road. The Astros are nearing that point of the season with their road record so much better than their home record, where it's almost mathematically impossible to end up with a better home record than road record. Smith ahead of the count, 1-2 on Trout. And barring something highly unusual, we'll see the Astros for the second straight year have a higher winning percentage on the road than at Minute Maid Park. 47-21 right now on the road, and tonight game 68 they're 35-32 at home. Mariners put up a couple in the second inning. Ben Gamel, 2 RBI double. Broken bat. The runner was on the move to prevent the double play. It would have been tailor-made. Instead, Correa takes the out at first. Fletcher in scoring position with 2 away.
Good pitch by Joe. Working that up and in portion of the plate with that arm side run. Tough delivery to pick up. Jamming a very good hitter in Mike Trout.
Justin Upton had to leave the game. Still waiting word on his injury, but he avoided a collision with Andrelton Simmons on a pop-up. And came out the next inning. Caleb Coward batting in his spot. Coward takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Coward started game 1 of this series, went 0 for 4. Came on as a defensive replacement last night for Taylor Ward and also got 1 at bat. He is 0 for 5 in this series with 4 strikeouts. Smith misses here. It's 2-0. Swinging a pop-up behind the plate. McCann gives it a look and runs out of room. Just a row and maybe 2 rows deep. Swung at a pitch that hits him. That's a strike. It's 2-2.
It's the second time we've seen that.
Caleb Coward can't believe it, but he took a swing, says third base umpire Eric Cooper, on a pitch that hits him. Instead of a hit batter, it's a swing.
He went around.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That squared him up pretty good.
Oh, that really did.
That's a painful strike. First game of September sounds like early October. Strike three call. We head to the bottom of the eighth. Tony Kemp at the top of the lineup due up in a one-run game.
Poll. Which superstar, when at their best, takes the Astros from very good to elite? Everybody loves Altuve, and he's the reigning MVP. You expect big things out of him. When he is going good, this team usually goes good in driving in runs. He is a table setter and a run producer, which makes him very unique in that sense. But a lot on the shoulders of that reigning MVP and Jose Altuve. They're going to need these guys at the top part of this lineup to get something going here to try and salvage this game here tonight.
Yeah, if you're AJ Hinch, you got to love this part of the lineup here. Springer will bat second, Altuve third, and Tony Kemp, who's been such an igniter on many big rallies this year for the Astros, will lead things off as they'll face a new pitcher for the Angels, Cam Bedrosian.
Seen Cam a couple times in this series already. 63 appearances on the season, 57 innings, 23 walks, and 51 strikeouts at whip, almost to 1.5. Well, that is due to those walks and the hits he gives up per inning.
So Bedrosian facing Kemp to start things off. Felix Pena, his longest outing of his big league career, 7 innings. Just allowed a couple of runs. One of those was unearned. Kemp takes a fastball away, ball one. Kemp singled his last time up. And takes a strike here. It's 1-1. Ooh.
Wow. Sorry. Just the hitter in me questioning that strike call.
Definitely could have been off the edge, according to our MD Anderson strike zone. That one's off.
And if I'm in the Angels dugout, I'm screaming same spot.
AJ looking for a base runner here. This crowd was pretty excited coming out of the top half of this inning. Kept up the middle, base hit. He has started some big rallies, and he starts out this inning with a clean single to center.
Another quality AB for Tony Kemp. I'm not sure why Bedrosian's throwing a pitch right down the heart of the plate with 2 strikes to a guy who has very good at-bats here in the last couple of months, but he just returns that to where it came from.
Springer bats. Well, these are the guys we talked about. Who are the guys that take this team from very good to elite? Springer was in that mix. 0 for 3 tonight. Had a chance his last time up with second and third, 2 outs. And he takes a called strike. Kemp can steal a bag occasionally. He has stolen 8 bases this year. 13 at the AAA level. Well, if you're going to be the best, a lot of times you need your best players to be at their best. And when they win, those guys are producing. And the losses this year with Altuve, Springer, and Correa, the numbers are just unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. That runner in scoring position number is the one that gets me. And, you know, the Astros, it feels like they've lost a lot of games where the other teams only scored 3, 4 runs. And what that does, even if they, you know, that number jumps a little bit to 200 or 250 with runners in scoring position, it kind of flows over to the other guys in the lineup.
Preston, what are your thoughts about these guys coming back from injury? That's been a little tough stretch for them.
Well, it's always tough if you have an injury towards the end of the year, because sometimes there's no place for you to go for a rehab. There may not be a long enough time left in the minor league season for you to actually get enough at bats to help you out to get back. So you have to kind of figure it out at the big leagues. But when this lineup is full strength, those guys that are the bangers, they take a lot of the pressure off the other everyday guys. You know, when you have Altuve producing, when you have Correa producing.
Hit by pitch.
Wow.
Oh, catcher's interference. Catcher's interference on Arcia on a check swing. Mike Scioscia's going to come out and have a word with Ramon De Jesus.
This is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely gets the glove. Just interesting that he doesn't take a full swing. Even if you check down to first, I'm not even sure they would call that a swing. But the contact being made with the glove is all you need.
So catcher's interference allows Springer to reach, and now it'll be first and second, nobody out, with Altuve, Bregman, and Correa due up.
And this is a runner in scoring position situation. In this series, the Astros are 1 for 10. That one being the Tyler White home run.
So here we go. Down 1 with your reigning MVP, your team MVP this year, and a future MVP in Carlos Correa potentially. The next 3 due up. And a breaking ball for a strike. That goes down as an error on the catcher, Arcia. He has 2 errors tonight. The team has 3 now.
feel like this team has just been waiting for something to give them some life. The dugout's been kind of quiet all year. On the road, they seem like they have more energy. And at home, it's almost like they're waiting for that thing to happen to get them pumped up.
Well, the crowd's been revved up this whole homestand. We've had at least 30,000 for all 6 games, including a couple of sellouts tonight, being sellout number 13 on the year. Altuve 3 for 7 in his career against Bedrosian. Around a bunt. Takes a pitch for a ball. It's a sign that maybe he's not entirely comfortable right now.
That's amazing to me. The talent that Jose Altuve possesses and the trophy he has on his mantle, I want him to hit.
Altuve can always beat out a bunt too. Taylor Ward, inexperience at third base. But I'm with you. See if he can get a pitch here to drive at 1-1. Now he's around the bunt again and takes a called strike, 1-2. Tony Kemp was trying to get a big lead off second.
If you're going to square around, put it down. Don't square around and take the strike.
Yeah, Blum, I agree with you, especially when you already have a strike against you. It's different when you have a no strike count, but when you have a one strike count and you attempt to bunt, you got to make that attempt to strike. If not, you got yourself in a 2-strike situation, and it's a time where you're not swinging as well as you would like to.
I completely agree, and that's a great point. Just running through scenarios in my head on why there might be an option of a bunt for Jose Altuve. I have the utmost faith in what Jose Altuve can do. That's why I want him to swing the bat. But the double play ball, I wonder how much that lingers in the heads of players to bunt the runners over. The only thing for me is we've seen a situation where runners have been at first and second, first base open, Alex Bregman at the plate, and they pitched around them. That would create that opportunity, but that's not going to happen because it's a 2-strike count.
Call third strike. Altuve goes down looking. Jose now 0 for 4. Runner is still first and second with 1 out.
3 sliders. Altuve frozen.
Where's Alex Bregman? Bregman made it a 1-run game with a home run his last time up. Talk about it all the time. This guy loves the moment. Be a rather large one tonight. 2 runners on in a 1-run game in the 8th.
And that's to a point made earlier in the game by Preston when Josh James recognized the moment, enjoy it. And I really feel that Alex Bregman's one of those guys when he digs in, he understands it, he sees it. This is earlier in the ball game on a slider. I love the fact that he was patient enough, let that ball travel, and then got around it. But I'd like to see him point at some more people and see that strut.
Numbers against Cam Bedrosian not great. The numbers in big clutch situations off the charts. Line drive right at the third baseman Ward. Alex couldn't hit it much harder, but hits it right at the Angels third baseman for the second out.
Man, oh man. Great swing. He is one of the quicker guys to contact in the league, I believe. It's a 104-mile-an-hour out.
104, huh?
Yeah.
Alex did his thing, just didn't have very good direction with that line drive. Nothing he could do. And now here's Carlos Correa. First 6 times of Correa's career he faced Bedrosian. He was retired last time he hit a home run. Astros with first and second, nobody out, now 2 outs. And a first pitch ball outside. Single by Kemp, catcher's interference with George Springer checking a swing, but caught the glove of Francisco Arcia. Now Altuve called out on strikes. Bregman lines out at 104 miles an hour. Now Correa. 2-0. Correa's got some nice protection behind him, with Tyler White being the hottest Astro since the All-Star break. So Robles warming up. Up the middle, base hit. Tony Kemp will come around to score. This game is tied. Springer going for third. Safe.
How about that? Carlos getting the head out on a fastball and hitting a rocket right back up the middle. Got those arms extended. Fired the barrel through the zone. Big hit with runners in scoring position.
That was huge. Astros were 1 for 12 in this series with runners in scoring position. Correa ties it up with 2 outs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Pitching change in a tie game. We'll be back after this. pitcher.
Yeah, hopefully a sign of things to come with Carlos Correa, new right-hander in, is Robles. 42 appearances on the season. He's thrown in 45 2/3 innings. His whip is at almost 1.5 also, 21 walks. It's not a good number. He can be wild, like to be effectively wild in the zone.
Tyler White, late inning magic for the Shark has been his theme lately. 2-run home run in San Francisco to give the Astros a series sweep against the Giants. Walked it off here with a home run into the Crawford boxes against the A's on Wednesday afternoon. And now the Shark, after stalking his prey all night long, usually waits for his last at bat for his most damage. Go ahead run on third base, 2 outs in the bottom half of the 8th.
Talked about the big home runs that Tyler White has come up with late in ball games. This one out in San Francisco on 99 up around his beard. He launched that into the seats. This one off Juris Familia Wednesday for the walk-off. He's had his moments and he's come through. Big moment right here for the Astros after that game-tying base hit by Carlos Correa.
Up and in, 2-0. Since the All-Star break, a 1,111 OPS. Second in all of baseball to Mike Trout. Drive, deep, left field. Off the top of the wall. 1 run scores. Correa coming around. He's going to score. A shark attack again late in the game, and the Astros lead 5-3.
The Meg. Two-0 count, fastball, mistake, middle in at 97. Tyler White has an answer for it. He loves that hanging chum out over the plate.
That ball hit that little ledge right above the scoreboard and bounced straight up.
Tell you what, we keep talking about the big boys scuffling a little bit, but how about Tyler White coming on the scene and getting some big hits for the Astros?
Something about late inning at-bats. This guy has come through time and time again.
Good for him.
He has never played with more confidence in his career than right now. And the Astros scored 3 in the bottom half of the 8th inning to take their first lead of this series. Here's Josh Reddick, down 0-1. Speed at night.
My goodness. Osuna warming in the Astros bullpen. Astros lead for the first time tonight, for the first time in this series, and Osuna looks like
he'll be called on for the final 3 outs. Count for Reddick, looking for his first hit tonight. Well, White had an 11-game home hitting streak snapped last night. He didn't have a hit in the game tonight until that huge double off the top of the left field wall. Was flying around the bases on that double, and he would score without a play. Ball 4. Robles is allowed a double and now a walk to the 2 batters he has faced, and Marwin Gonzalez will get to the plate. Watch the Astros your way by downloading the AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. Preston.
Guys, that last rally definitely got more guys up on the top step, standing up on the bench. These guys are up feeling it right now. You can tell that Tyler White has energized this dugout.
Yeah, he will get a hero's welcome back to that dugout after this inning as Marwin takes a called strike.
No doubt. Guy who got himself into a 2-0 count and a fastball and was ready to hammer it, and did.
He's not missing many pitches these days.
Oh.
And it's all late. 8th inning, 9th inning, consistently getting the job done. Marwin down the count 0-2. Just a guess, and we can do the numbers after the game tonight, but his slugging percentage, 8th or 9th innings the last couple of weeks, has to be close to 2,000. And that's not an exaggeration.
No, it's not.
Seriously.
I think the last time we put it up there was around 1,500. But it could be a lot bigger.
You just consistently, every final at bat, getting the job done. We showed you the home run in San Fran, the walk-off. Nearly hit a home run tonight. Marwin tries to hold up, and he does. Catcher's interference in the midst of this 3-run inning didn't hurt. Astros gaining an extra base runner when Springer
Four-plus runs means a lot, especially when you have the pitching staffs that the Red Sox, Astros, and Cubs have.
Two. Robles 8 out of 13 out of the zone since coming in out of the bullpen. All the runs charged to Bedrosian. Run for Springer will not be an earned run as he reached on catcher's interference. The other 2 will be. Can't assume it out there. Marwin having a good game, a double off the bullpen fence and left, and a single his second time, 2 for 3 tonight. Stays alive here after being down the count 0-2, putting up a good battle against Robles.
Doing a very good job. We talked about the walks and the command issues that Robles can have sometimes with that whip close to 1.5. And it led to that 2-0 pitch that Tyler White got. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. Something he could handle middle in. Then it was followed up by that walk to Josh Reddick. Still an opportunity here for Marwin. 2-out Lightning.
Mariners have added to their lead. It's now a 4-1 Seattle lead in the third inning. A's have already used 4 pitchers in that game. They're only in the third. Got some numbers on Tyler White from our statistician extraordinaire Phil Boudreau. 7th inning or later, last 11 games, 7 for 14, a single, 3 doubles, and 3 homers.
That's pretty good.
Marwin deep to left center field, all the way back. Eric Young Jr. looks and he can't make the play. 2 runs will score. Astros lead 7-3. Astros taking advantage of less than stellar defense in this inning.
Well, and how about giving Marwin a pitch in a 2-strike count to hit even this far? But a little bit of Minute Maid quirks working against the Angels. He overran that. But in a 2-strike count, Marwin drove the ball earlier the other way in this ball game to a similar spot. But the ability to get a pitch win a 2-strike situation like that to drive is nice.
Good to see the windmill starting when he didn't expect it to start.
Yep.
2 runs come across on what is an error on Eric Young Jr. That is the 4th error of this game by the Angels. And the Astros now lead at 7-3. Reddick hustling in all the way around from first base. They're taking for granted that that could be caught. Here's Brian McCann batting for the 4th time. Astros sending 9 men to the plate in this inning. And McCann takes one outside. Well, for 7 innings, this sellout crowd didn't have much to scream about. An Alex Bregman home run and a sac fly by Brian McCann. But now in the 8th, a lot of them have been on their feet this entire inning. Won the count. Now Will Harris warming up. You wonder in a 4-run game if AJ still wants to go to Roberto Osuna, or maybe he'll elect to go to Will here. So Robles having a word with crew chief Gary Cedarstrom. I exaggerated the Sharks slugging percentage recently. It's only 1.36, 1360.
That's weak sauce.
Slugging percentage. What's Mike Scioscia's coming out now? I'm not sure what's going on. Something happened initially with Robles talking to Gary Cedarstrom, and now Scioscia wants to hear from the crew chief.
Didn't call a balk, but it looks like that Ramon De Jesus is having a conversation about the set position of Robles and Gary Cedarstrom. There are times where an umpire will say something to the pitcher without making the call of balk, saying, hey, you're getting close to making me call a balk. And that might be the conversation. And much like AJ protecting his players, you're seeing Scioscia go out there to have the conversation just to confirm what the conversation is and keep Robles out of trouble. Foot on the rubber, right? That looks like he's in the set position right there. And that might be odd for Gary to see. If he separated his hands right there, I bet you Cedarstrom might have called the ball.
Well, Robles has struggled a bit with his command here. 11 out of 20 out of the zone. There's bullpen action again for the Angels, so see if he stays in here, if he's unable to retire McCann. Although Bryant pops one up again. And Arcia is going to get another shot. This time in fair territory, makes the play for the final out of the inning.
And it's the May coming up with a big hit. Fastball leaked out over the plate, and he absolutely destroys it on a line to left field. And that leads to a couple of runs with that ball bouncing off high on the scoreboard. Fans in the background tell you how much fun it can be.
Tony Kemp.
Tony Kemp has started a lot of things, and then it was the catcher's interference, which is an error on Arcia. This is the one right here. We saw Altuve miss the bunt, but it was erased with the base hit up the middle by Carlos Correa, and then the monster hit from Great White. Almost snuck it out of here, bouncing it off the top of that manual scoreboard. They weren't done. There was an error that comes a little bit later, but that was a big hit. Getting the Astros ahead. Tyler White doing magical things here in the last 2 weeks, it feels like.
Hey, guess what's back, Plummer?
Cupid shuffle.
Jake's back in center. George Springer to right. Josh Reddick to left. And Roberto Osuna on the mound, still pitching here, even though it's not a save situation. AJ had him warm anyhow, so figures why not bring him in. Face Andrelton Simmons. Jose Fernandez and Taylor Ward in this 9th inning.
I like the idea of bringing Osuna in. Even though it's not a save situation, like you said, he's loose, he's ready to go. But the way things are going, you'd really like to have a shutdown inning right here and just put this game away.
Joe Smith picking up the final 2 outs of the 8th inning. The Astros have done a nice job against the Angels hitters since that 3-run home run by Cole Calhoun. There have been only 2 base runners. The home run came with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Calhoun walked in the 5th. Fletcher singled in the 8th. And that's been it. Brad Peacock retired all 4 batters he faced. Josh James in his major league debut ended up retiring 10 of the last 11 batters he faced. Tony Sipp getting all 3 in 2 different innings that he faced, and then Joe Smith allowing an opening single to David Fletcher, first batter he saw, but then getting the next 2. Now Osuna called 3rd strike. A rare game for Simmons where he strikes out twice in the same game. James got him in the 1st.
Both times looking.
And Osuna gets him here looking to start the 9th.
Turbo slider down and away. Beautifully spotted.
Simmons coming into this game with just 31 strikeouts on the year. Won every 16.26 plate appearances, which is the best in baseball. Here's Jose Fernandez. Fernandez a walk, a run scored, 0 for 2, a fly out and a strikeout. Osuna delivers a strike on the inside corner. Getting word from the Angels clubhouse that Justin Upton left this game with a mild concussion. Involved in a little scary pop-up there where he and Simmons were converging. Strange night for Simmons with a couple of strikeouts. Strange night for the Angels defensively. A season-high 4 errors tonight.
Yeah, usually Mike Trout's in center field. I wonder if he makes that play out there in left center. He's usually pretty good at doing things like that, but DHing tonight.
3 of the 5 runs scored by the Astros in that 8th inning were unearned. One and 2 the count.
Caught the right hand of Brian McCann.
Welcome back, B-Mac.
Yep, love being a catcher.
Talk often about records with Altuve, records with Correa. This ball sent high in the air to center field. Jake, welcome back. He'll make the play for out number 2. Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls for a limited time. So the Angels down to their final out in this 7-3 game. Now the record without Altuve playing and starting possibly the most impressive. But Brian McCann, whenever he starts behind the plate, Astros 31-14. And we mentioned earlier he had that lowest catcher's ERA coming into this game. Tonight 3 runs actually raises that ERA with him behind the plate. And that all came on one swing. Here's Ward with a 1-0 count. Mariners lead their game against Oakland 5-1. That game in the 4th inning. Mariners threatening for more in the 4th. 2 on with nobody out. Ball hit into center field. Jake is there. Astros are winners. 7-3 final score. A 5-run bottom half of the 8th inning. And Blummer, this was a much needed game for the Astros, having lost the first 2 games of this series.
Yeah, it's amazing how a team in first place, it can feel like a must-win situation, but the AL West tightening up a little bit after a couple of losses against the Angels. It is good to see them come through with some big knocks. Yeah, a couple of guys advanced on errors, but you still got to come through with some quality ABs, and they got it tonight late in the ball game. Josh James did a great job today. It's nice to have that erased from his ledger. He was sitting there with the loss, but the Astros offense picked him up.
The Astros win it 7-3. We'll have more, including the post-game show, coming up after this.